Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, learning Arabic, an introduction. So first and foremost, I want to make a meta point about how we are going to learn the Arabic language. Arabic is an ocean. I've drawn here a circle, a bad circle, but even then, this is a finite circle. I mean, Arabic is infinite. It's an ocean without a shore. So how on earth can we, with a finite brain, with all in all quite a small lifespan, how can we possibly encompass this ocean? And how can we learn it? Well, I might start with a slightly depressing fact, which is that most people who endeavor to learn Arabic, most people who begin learning Arabic inevitably give up. And to those who continue, most of them still fail. Now, that might sound very demoralizing, but I would say that, well, there's two things. First and foremost, when you travel a path, a great path with a great reward at the end, it's going to be difficult and it's going to be risky. This is not just the case with Arabic, this is the case with most things in life. It doesn't come easy. And you have to be prepared to sacrifice and to struggle, which means you need to really want it to begin with. Secondly, if it's a dangerous and hard path that we are traversing, you absolutely need a guide. Trying to simply climb a mountain yourself, trying to contain this ocean of a language by yourself through mere trial and error, trying this and a bit of this, attending one course and that course and a bit of all these things, it's most likely not going to work, just given the scale of the project in front of us. So we need a plan. We need a clear plan and a clear syllabus. Now, it's true that the Arabic language is an infinite ocean, but so is the universe. Being itself is infinite. Yet, though being is infinite, though existence is infinitely complicated, though we may look unto the expanse of the starry skies and behold before ourselves innumerable stars and galaxies, an unfathomable abyss of unending possibilities, yet we have knowledge. We know things. We understand the world and the universe. We understand things, us, this small shell of a being, we small animals who were created in God's image can understand and therefore, in a sense, comprehend the world because there is something more than a finite nature. We have a spiritual nature. As it is said that God taught Adam the names of things. It's more than just learning the fact that, this is called a cup or cats, whatever else we have for it. No, it's not just the fact that there's, a thing I can do with my tongue to make the word cup. It's the fact that I understand what a cup is, what the sky is, what a star is and a tree. I know the essences of things. And that's the key. You have this idea, an ancient idea that the world is a microcosmos, right? You have the big cosmos, but inside of it, you have a little cosmos, the human being. This small little thing here contains the whole. Ostensibly, I mean, the universe, let alone the universe, my room contains my body. Yes, but in the spiritual world, it's the other way around. Spiritually, I contain the room because my mind, my consciousness contains the room. The body's inside of the room, but the idea of the room is inside of my mind. And in fact, at least it is possible for the entire universe to be contained inside of the heart of the human being. It's one mystical tradition that, God says that the heavens and the earth cannot contain me, but the heart of my servant, of my believing servant, that can contain me, rather comprehend my mystery. Why am I saying all this? It's because the path towards learning the Arabic language, towards understanding the Qur'an, ultimately towards attaining knowledge of God, which fundamentally is the purpose. Why do we learn Arabic? Right? To sound fancy, to speak, to seem clever when we speak, to show off, or, to speak to other Arabs, to watch Arab shows or whatever it is. I mean, these can be reasons. There's nothing wrong with that per se. But if that's the reason, that's your niyyah, well, the divine barakah is not going to be there. So first and foremost, we ask God that He cleanses our hearts. He purifies our intentions. That we seek to learn this holy language, this ancient, sacred language, the language of God, as He describes Himself, the Qur'ān Arabi, the language of the Qur'an, and the Qur'an is Kalamullah, the word of God, therefore the language of God, so that we may know Him, because we were created to know God. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنسَ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create jinn kind and mankind, but to worship me. And Ibn Abbas says that to worship me means A, لِيَعْرِفُونَ, to know me. This is the most important thing. There's a word called gnosis. The same word as knowledge. Knowledge, gnosis in the Greek language. But in particular, we mean gnosis of divine knowledge. Knowledge of God. And in truth, that's the only knowledge. All knowledge, if it is truly knowledge, is knowledge of God. To understand the Arabic language as the language of God, this is nothing less than an act of ibadah. We are seeking ilm, and I'm not going to go here into the awesome meaning of what ilm is, of what knowledge is. There are many books and lectures and so on and so forth, which I highly recommend you to watch concerning that topic, as motivation, if nothing else. But to attain this ilm of the Arabic language, ultimately, we are attaining a knowledge of God. And this divine knowledge is gotten through the divinity, the divine center of the human being, by which I mean our spiritual nature. Because the spirit, the ruh, was breathed into man by God. To the extent that you might say that this spirit is really the spirit of God. It's not, I say my spirit, but it doesn't belong to me. It's not mine. It's God's spirit. It's His spirit. He owns it. It belongs to Him. Ultimately, it comes from Him. And it makes me who I am, but that's because I only am who I am, because God is who He is. This is the beginning of learning the Arabic language. What this means practically, if that's the kind of theoretical foundation, is that, well, just like, the ruh is inside of us, but contains us in the same way. It's a microcosm. We are seeking the spirit of the Arabic language. Ruh al-Arabiya, mahi. What's the spirit of Arabic? That's the center. Yes, Arabic is an infinite ocean without shores, but there's a precious jewel, a pearl, in the depths of this ocean, which gleams and bespeaks forth the mysteries of the sea. In those cataclysmic depths at the bottom of the ocean, there's a resplendent light which shines and burns aloft throughout those seas. That pearl at the center, the spirit of the Arabic language, it is this which we begin with. And the Arabic language is Al-Arabiya. Put the alif lam there. Al-Arabiya. There's meaning to this. So the word Arab or Arabi ultimately comes from the language. What does it mean to be an Arab? What is, Arab? The Prophet is Arabi. The Qur'an is Arabi. Ultimately comes back to Al-Arabiya. And what is Al-Arabiya? It's one word here. It's called i'rab. I'rab. There's another closely related word, which is abbara. They have araba, abara, if you change the letters around a bit. Abara means kind of to cross. So from that, there's the word ta'bir. You might have heard of it, which means to interpret or to communicate. Because when you speak or when you interpret something, you're crossing dimensions of being. When we speak, we're crossing the internal dimension of our being, like the mind, even the spiritual dimension, into the physical. We have like words. It's like air coming out of my mouth. It's physical now. Sound waves traveling and going into your ear. But the origin was something internal in my mind. Language is translating thoughts into reality. Abara. And i'rab means exactly that. It means to communicate something, to make something clear, to bring something to light. Al-Arabiyya hiya allati tu'rib. Arabic is that thing which brings things to light. And if Arabic is the language of God, well, we understand that things exist because God has spoken them into being. Kun fayakun. He speaks kun fayakun. And so the thing is. The Arabic language is the microcosm of being. If you look at the entire universe is being created by the Arabic language. Just like if you look at the computer, or if you play like a game on the computer, there's a code, right? There's a computer code behind the images, generating it and creating it. Arabic is, well, I was going to say it is like, but no, it literally is the code behind reality. If you've seen The Matrix, there's one scene where it's like, I think Neo sees the Matrix, right? And he sees numbers like binary code. He sees the code behind reality, like the hijab is being lifted and he's seeing things as they are. If the hijab were lifted and we saw the ghaib and we saw reality as it is, we would see the Arabic language, the code behind things. So Arabic is this pearl at the center of reality. It is the pearl at the center of the self. And the truth is, you don't have to learn Arabic. Dhikr. The Qur'an is a dhikr, remembrance. When we speak about learning the Qur'an, the truth is we're just remembering something that the Spirit already knows. Arabic is the language of the Spirit. We are Arabi. Forget about flesh and blood. These things don't matter. That's just going to fade away. What is everlasting? The Ruh. The Ruh is Arabi. So learning Arabic is a process of coming into the center of the self. It is a spiritual journey. Make no mistake about that. And if you don't approach it as a spiritual journey, an inward journey of knowing the self, well, we won't ever be able to scale the mountain. Or even worse, we will think we've scaled it, and we have not. Abu Jahl knew the Arabic language, did he not? He knew it far better than we ever will, most likely. Yet he didn't really know it. He spoke it extremely eloquently. He knew all the words. He mastered it, but not really. He knew it outwardly. His tongue was Arabic. His skin and flesh and blood and genes were Arabic. No, but his heart was not Arabi. For were it Arabi, he would have understood al-Arabiyyah truly. He would have understood the language of the Qur'an of God. And thereby, he would have understood the Qur'an and known God, and therefore known his prophets, peace be upon him. So even worse, we might think we know the Arabic language. We become masters and we're speaking it fluently and extemporizing poetry, but we do not know it. Not truly, not in the heart. That is nifaq, munafiqah, hypocrisy, which is even worse than denial and disbelief and rebellion, because it is all those things in an even more perverse guise. So again, we ask God that he cleanses our hearts and our intentions, that we learn this language for the right reason. وَأَمَّا بَعْد. And so to continue. To learn this language, which we said is the pearl at the center of the universe, the pearl at the center of ourselves, we have to know the pearl inside of the pearl, the inmost center of the center. That's what we're trying to learn over here. We're trying to learn the secrets of the Arabic language, the inmost mystery, the heart, the spirit of Arabic herself. That's what this circle at the center is. Arab, I said, is related to Arabia. In a sense, this kind of basically means grammar. At least the way it's used now. We understand Arab to basically mean grammar. So the heart of the Arabic language is Arabic grammar. Now, we don't like the word grammar now. We don't really learn grammar, which is a huge mistake. Grammar is the only science. Every science is a form of grammar. I mean, by trade, I'm a mathematician, and mathematics is grammar. All of mathematics is grammar. The symbolic structures, algebra, and of course, mathematics is the code behind physics and chemistry, and therefore engineering and computers and the entire world around us. It's all maths, and maths is all grammar. But before we get afraid, I don't mean here Arabic grammar in the perspective of, in fact, I have a book. If I can find it, if I can get this right. Rights grammar. I don't think you guys can see it properly. It's a beautiful book. Honestly, it's a beautiful book. I love it, but you probably will not because it's about 1,000 pages long. So I'm not going to give that to you. I'm not going to give you a 1,000-page long introduction to Arabic grammar. Though honestly, I would love to. What I'm going to hopefully give is like a half an hour to 1 hour max introduction to all of the Arabic grammar you need to learn Arabic and to understand the Qur'an. And essentially, this is introduction to learning Arabic, the heart of the Arabic language. By grammar, I don't mean just a list of symbols and rules. Yes, it can be like that if you turn to a random page of a grammar book. It's just like, again, you can't see it, but just hundreds and hundreds of rules and so on and so forth. It's not about rules, it's about learning. The heart of Arabic is about learning the spirit of Arabic. By Arabic grammar, what I mean over here is the heart which pumps the blood, the lifeblood of Arabic. How does Arabic work? How, and you can't understand how without why. Arabic, al-Arabiya, is about i'rab and ta'bir, which we said is not only explaining reality, but generating reality. By grammar, I mean, what are the fundamental ideas? What's the fundamental logic which explains how the Arabic language works? It's the diagram of reality. Really, learning Arabic grammar is the single greatest thing you can possibly learn because it's the key which opens up every other science. It opens up every knowledge. I contend that there is not a single thing in the world, there is not a single knowledge, be it a science or even a physical, practical knowledge, an art, a skill, a craft, be it bodily or mental, whatever there is, Arabic language or Arabic grammar will help with it and unlock it. Hopefully, I'm trying to give you the Arabic grammar, the heart of the language, from this perspective. So let's begin. Bismillah. Where do we begin? With pronouns. The most important words of any language are pronouns. In fact, I should begin this by saying that before you learn Arabic grammar, learn English grammar if you're an English speaker. Because really, it's not about learning Arabic or English or French or German or Sanskrit or Latin. It's grammar. Grammar is grammar. The truth is, I mean, every language in the world comes from one language. Just as every human being comes from one human being, from Adam alayhi salam. There's a logic behind every language. The truth is, I say Al-Arabiya, but every language is a form of Arabiya. Al-Arabiya, real Al-Arabiya is the first language which existed. And like a tree, every language and every people and nation has branched in its own beautiful, unique way. But that means that, the leaf, the branch still contains the essence of the seed from which it came. Learn English grammar before you learn Arabic grammar, because the truth is you can't learn Arabic grammar or any grammar without English grammar. I won't do this here, but if you don't do this, if you have not done English grammar, don't complain if this doesn't come. And that's harsh, but it's true. And that is the first mistake people make, and the first reason why, more often than not, people don't continue learning Arabic. Regardless, I'm not going to assume any hard grammar. I'm just assuming the basic concepts. And hopefully, I'll make another video in English grammar, basically, inshallah. For now, let's continue. Pronouns. Pronouns are the heart of any language, the heart of the heart. There's three things going on here. Again, this is about how is reality made? There's three things. What we call person, number, and gender. These are the pronouns. In English, we have he and she. He, she. We have you. But in Arabic, you have two yous, one for the masculine and one for the feminine. That's gender. And we have I and we. I'll put I for now. These are the persons: third person, second person, first person. I want to explain what this means. Again, inshallah, I'll make another video about going through the grammar. I'm essentially assuming that. But I'm just here going to give it to you and give you the absolute essence. So number, gender, and lastly, person, gender, and lastly, number. So number is plurality. Like he is one person. You have they, it's multiple people. You have you all. You speak you all. I and we. I'll put the they here as well. You also have a dual case in Arabic. I like two people, he, those two, has its own pronoun. But I'll come to that later. So let me now give you what these words are in Arabic. And this is the first thing which you must learn and the most important thing. He, I'm not sure if red will be seen. I think it will be. He is huwa. The first word, the greatest word, huwa. Huwa is also a name of God. He really, he is not, or huwa in Arabic, it's genderless. We say masculine and he, but the truth is it works for both male and female, and that which is beyond male and female. The ungendered logos, which is before all duality, that oneness which is in the beginning. Huwa. La ilaha illa hu. That's going to be the building block of the entire Arabic language. From that, the idea of the feminine is discovered and derived. So how does huwa become feminine? You add an E sound. Huwa, hiya. Huwa, hiya. There are patterns in the Arabic language which I'll hopefully bring out as we continue. So keep this in mind and spot patterns in the table. Huwa, hiya. They is hum. And again, they for group of women is going to be hunna. But I'll actually keep this out for now because the truth is feminine plurals are quite rare. We'll come to those later. As I said, what I'm trying to give you now is the root of the root of the root of the Arabic language, like that utmost center, the heart. Those fundamental ideas which you cannot do without. The microcosm. Everything else will come in due time. These you need to learn. Huwa, hiya, hum. You is anta. Anta. Now pause here for a minute to think about what you female is going to be. Anta, if it's a man. If it's a woman, I say an. Think about it. Huwa, hiya. I add an E sound. So it's anti. See, patterns everywhere. And Arabic is a perfectly mathematical language, a perfectly regular logical language. Huwa, hum. Anta. Again, pause. Antum. And I'll again skip this just for now. I is ana. We is nahnu. Now, what are you going to do? To learn this, you have to write this out. I've given you one way to draw this out, but really just create your own structure. How are you going to understand this and think about it? This is like the utmost, inmost core of the Arabic language. What you need to do is you need to think in Arabic, not just speak and read Arabic, but think in Arabic. Do not translate. Don't say he or he is a huwa. Then you're reading Arabic or hearing la huwa. What's huwa again? Or huwa is he. No, huwa has to become he in your mind. That only comes by firstly repetition. You should repeat this at least every morning and every evening. Create like a cheat sheet or a card or something. Keep reading it out. Read it out throughout the day. Just keep it in your pocket, take it out, revise. But more than that, start to live it. And this is not just for pronouns, it's going to be for everything in Arabic. As you go through the day and you go through life, literally when you see things, think about it in Arabic. When you see literally the wall, I'm thinking in my mind, there's a wall over there, it's blue. No, change that. Literally start thinking in Arabic. Okay, maybe you can't form complete sentences at the beginning, but what does a child do? A baby does not speak complete sentences, but they just blurt out words. They're playing around. And ultimately, with time and experience, they learn how to put words together. So it will be with you. Become again a babe. Become again newly born. Recreate, or rather rediscover yourself. And that's why I said Arabic is a journey to discover yourself. And as you go through life, literally see huwa, hum, hiya, anta, anti, ana. Keep doing that in your mind. And I promise you, inshallah, that you will more than learn this. You will master this and become Arabi because that's the goal. Anyway, next. So memorize this. Now, another thing I'm going to give you to memorize the past tense. So I'm just going to write the pronouns out this time. Right? We have huwa, here, hum. I'll put hum over here. Anta, anti, antum, and then ana, and nahnu. You can put the vowels in yourself, hopefully, from this, and you should have learnt the vowels by now. So huwa is going to be, so we're going to be learning basically there's a template. One verb is fa'ala. Fa'ala means to do. As we're going to learn, every verb is going to be put on a pattern. So we say, huwa fa'ala. And if you have another verb, for example, akala means to eat. So with any verb in general, you're just going to rhyme against this pattern, this template. As I said, this is the core, the pearl of the pearl. Because anything in Arabic is going to come back to what we're learning now and just be another form of it. So huwa, for fa'ala, to say he did, it's huwa fa'ala. Here is fa'alat. Fa'alat. Again, patterns you're going to see. To form the feminine, you add a ta. One meaning of the letter ta is femininity. To go from huwa, we went from huwa to hum. It's like we're kind of making the huwa hum, adding u. So it's fa'ala. You want to make it longer because there's more people. He did, they did. There's many people now doing. So fa'ala becomes fa'alu. Again, you will see this pattern again and again. Anta is, think about this. Fa'ala, anta. How would you expect we say, he did inside of the verb? So if you didn't get it, it's fa'alta. But now what you can do, I'm sure, get these two. Just pause the video and work these out. Anta fa'alta, anti, antum. Hopefully you see that you just copy the last letters. So anta fa'alta, anti, fa'alti. And antum, fa'altum. Again, I'm not going to translate these because you've got the pronouns and that's all you need. What does this mean? Antum is, you all did. Ana, you might not get this. I'll give it to you. It's going to be fa'altu. And nahnu, so the we is communicated using like the noon and n sound. So you want to add a noon to this. The way you do that is add it to the end. Fa'alna. Fa'alna. Ana fa'altu. Nahnu fa'alna. Learn these. Learn these in the same way that you learn the pronouns. And you can practice them both together as we did. But notice that in general, don't expect to see the pronoun because the pronoun is inside of the verb. So this is called conjugation. To conjoin in English means to put things together. These verb tables, or conjugation tables, are telling you how to put the pronoun inside of the verb. So I can just say fa'alta, and I know that I'm speaking like to someone. You did, man. You, man, did. Fa'alta. Learn these. Next, present tense. And there's only two tenses in Arabic language, past and present. We'll learn about how to talk about future and stuff like that later. It's very easy. Same thing. Huwa, here, hum, anta, anti, antum, ana, nahnu. And hopefully, if you're breaking this up and learning it bit by bit, you're you're becoming accustomed to this like table form. You don't have to do it like this. You might like to rearrange it and do it however, but you see that there's this fundamental table of concepts, and everything is going to be like a permutation of this table. So how are we going to say, we had fa'ala. The present tense of this is going to be yaf'alu. Again, patterns you're going to continue to see again and again and again. So he is doing, we say huwa yaf'alu. Yaf'alu. Here, guess, remember we added a ta. It was huwa fa'ala, he did. She did, here, fa'alat. So now it's huwa yaf'alu, he is doing. She is doing. Here, how am I going to add the ta to this? I go taf'alu. Here, taf'alu. Yaf'alu, taf'alu. Hum, before we added an u, fa'ala, fa'alu. So this becomes yaf'alu, yaf'aluna. There's a noon added at the end. Again, every single thing you see has a meaning. Every single letter, vowel, has a meaning in the Arabic language. Letters have meanings. So I'll explain all of this in due time. But again, let's not overcomplicate it. Just keep it simple as it is at the moment, and everything will make more sense as you just continue to proceed. هو يفعل هم يفعلون أون أنت. I want to join this ta to it. So يفعل becomes تفعل. So notice that هي تفعل وأنت تفعل. In practice, you won't get them mixed up really, because she and you are very different, Like, when are you going to get she female and you male confused? So it seems like they're repeated, but in practice, don't worry about it. So it's anta taf'alu. We went anta and ti. You added an e. So we're going to add an e. So taf'alu becomes taf'alina. Taf'alina. Antum. You want to make this plural. Huwa hum. Anta antum. هو يفعل هم يفعلون أنت تفعل أنتم تفعلون. See? Just keep repeating this over and over again, and it will become clear to you. They have أنا. When I add a, نحن, add a na. So what did we do over here? هو, here. هو يفعل, here, تفعل. I changed the beginning letter. So same thing, أنا أفعل. نحن نفعل. I'm giving you all these patterns and trying to explain why words are the way they are, so that you understand it. Because the best way, really the only way to memorize is from understanding. When I speak about memorizing, what I mean is that you understand it so utterly well. You behold it within yourself with such perspicuity and clarity that you're remembering it is you literally seeing it and experiencing it all the time. You want to make this a part of you. And you will, inshallah, just by repeating it, but adding love to the repetition. So you want to repeat this, huwa here, anta, anti, and ana, nahnu, هو فعل هي فعلت هم فعلوا أنت فعلت أنت فعلتي أنتم فعلتم أنا فعلت نحن فعلنا. Same here. هو يفعل هي تفعل هم يفعلون أنت تفعل أنت تفعلين أنتم تفعلون أنا أفعل نحن نفعل. But when you add love and desire, burning desire to this repetition, you're not just repeating it, it's like you're ironing it, engraving it into your brain. You're literally fusing together the neural currents in your brain. And the deeper you love the Arabic language, the deeper it's going to be fused in your brain. And God is my witness, I believe and I know that it is possible to learn the Arabic language even better than your mother tongue. You will, inshallah, get to the stage where you know Arabic even better than you know your mother tongue. And it's not far-fetched. Because, for example, English is very irregular. There's many breaks to the patterns. Why is it, like you say he sings, they sing, he sang, you sing. I mean, it's not as regular. There's not patterns to it really. And in all languages, you just have to memorize things. In Arabic, you don't have to memorize things blindly. There's reasons for everything. And if you understand and feel the beating heart of the Arabic language, which is the center of grammar, you've already memorized it. Anyway, believe it or not, the essence of verbs is basically done here. Pronouns, past, present. Just memorize these. Next, I want to give you the absolute essence of nouns. Before we do that, I'll tell you words in the Arabic language are of three types. You have nouns, verbs, and particles. Nouns talk about things. Verbs talk about happenings, like things in time. We'll say things, events, / occurrences. Or let's say actions. I think that's nicer. Things, actions, and particles are all about relations. If you want the Arabic words for this, it's ism, fi'l. Remember, we just saw fa'ala. This is related to it, fi'l. And particles is a harf. Things. There are meanings, ma'ani. Meanings which are in and of themselves are names. They're not time bound. Like the names of God, they are eternal. They are the nouns, names of things. Then you have things which are time bound. Those are verbs. This is where time comes in. And then you have relations between things, like the idea of a cat being in the hole. What's in? In is not a thing in and of itself. It's not an event occurring in time, not an action, but it's a relation. And actually, anything which exists is one of these three things. So we just did verbs. In fact, we did a lot of nouns, pronouns. All the verbs are done. Now I just want to explain a bit more of nouns, a bit more of particles, and believe it or not, we can start to understand the Qur'an. I will do a bit of that. So as for nouns, again, there's tables, and tables lie at the heart of all of this. Past, present, this is mapping onto the table of nouns or pronouns, person, number, gender. Let's take a noun for an example. Let's have najmun, najm, nudge, najm. This means star. So there's a few things. We have indefinite nouns and definite nouns. But then there's also something called grammatical case. This might be very new to people. And this is where the Arabic language can seem hard. But I'll explain this very simply. First and foremost, indefinite is saying a star. Indefinite is saying the star. There's no word for a in the Arabic language. You don't need it. To say a star, I just say najm. Najmun. Najmun. To say the star, I say an najmu. And obviously, there's something called like sun and moon letters, which is about you don't say al najmu, you say an najmu. I won't go into that here. If you don't know it already, you're going to pick it up naturally just by reading and hearing Arabic. So don't worry too much about that. So the star an najmu, a star najmun. So I add an alif and lam. That's the definite article. That's how I say the. Very, very important. If it's definite, I don't say an najmun. It's an najmu. So really what's giving the indefiniteness is not just the fact that there's no alif lam, but you're adding a tanween at the end. Najmun. But now there's a few more things which occur. I can say najmun, najman, and najmin. And over here, you're going to have an najma and an najmi. So there's two here, najmun and najmu. But now we're going down. You're going to see this in the Qur'an. You have and in. Why? So there's no easy answer to this, except this goes into the idea of grammatical cases. So all ancient languages have these, but modern languages have kind of lost them. To make it very simple, he, him, his. He did it. I gave it to him. I don't say I gave it to he, I gave it to him. It is his. You don't say it is he or it is him. That's a different meaning. You say it is his bag, his house. Same thing. He, him, his. Najmun, najman, najmin. When it's the subject, and again, I'm not going to explain English grammar here. Inshallah, I'm going to make another video for that. When it's the subject, it's najmun. When it's the object, it's najman. I gave it to him. Ana ra'aytu, I saw. Ana ra'aytu, is it, if I want to say I saw a star, ana ra'aytu, najmun, najman, najmin, najman is the object of seeing. Ana ra'aytu najman. I saw the star. Ana ra'aytu an-najma. Subject, object. The last it's going to be when you have two things, a preposition or a possession. I'll explain these things right here. So we had nouns, verbs, particles. Let me give you some particles now. So there's many different types of particles. Particles are basically, relations, words expressing relations. What concerns us now are prepositions. Again, if you don't know what a preposition is, watch my video. Let me give you a preposition. Let's say from. To say from, it's min. Min. Let me give you another word. Nur. Nur. Again, nur, nurun, nuran, nurin, an-nuru, an-nura, an-nuri. According to what's going on, I want to say the light from the star. So now take a minute and see if you can actually form that sentence. The light from the star. So this is going to be the answer. The light, I'll write it here because we're going from right to left. The light from the star. So light is nur. I want to say the light, so it's going to be an-nur. Another question, is it going to be an-nuru, an-nura, an-nuri? It's the subject of the sentence, so it's an-nuru. Min, from is min, we know that. An-nuru, min. How do we say the star? Hopefully it's an-najm, an-najm. An-nuru, min, an-najmu, an-najma, an-najmi. What's going on with the star? What meaning of starness do I mean? That's what the cases are telling us. And again, I don't want to go too philosophical here, but it all goes back to the idea like the Arabic language is this ocean, it's expressing, it's creating reality. These tables we have are like the fundamental networks which are inside of everything. This might seem more complicated, but I actually argue it's more simple. I argue this is more simple than English. I'll explain this in a bit. The light from the star here is going to be not the subject. The subject was the light. We're speaking about the light from. It's not an object of a verb, but it's an object of a preposition. So it's e, and najmin and najmi. It's going to be a nuru min and najmi. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words here. 1, 2, 3. 3 words here. Because we have these grammatical cases, because one word can be said in so many different ways, we actually can conceive these meanings inside of single words. So the Arabic language is very concise. When you want to say something, you don't add more and more words. You just change the way you say words, which is beautiful. It's so intuitive. If I want to say different things about a star, I change the star itself, the word. It's like if I see it from above or from below, from the side, I'm seeing a different aspect of it, right? Same thing with the word. This table is kind of giving you the different aspects or faces of a word, like a cube. A cube has 6 sides. A word is like a cube, it has 6 sides. And depending on how we're looking at it, like how we're fitting the piece into the sentence, we're going to see a particular side of it. That's this. An-nuru min an-najmi, the light from the star. Possession. In Arabic, the word for this is idafa. I don't want to overdo the Arabic words for now. Again, plenty of time to do all this later. But idafa, if you want to know. How do I say the light of the star? Remember I said he, him, and his. So, his house. How do I say that? Because, if this is he and this is him, this should be his. And I said over here possession. The e that this kasra and najmin is also coming into play to speak about possession. So in Arabic, you never say like his light or the star's light. The star's light, and even in English, really like the best way to say this is the light of the star. The light of the star. Again, it's I should put this the other way around because we're going from right to left. Light of the star. The light of the star. So this is idafa. The way we do this is we have nur and we have najm. We don't put the alif lam here. To join these two words together, there is no word of in the Arabic language, but we join them together using the cases. What we say is nurun najmi. Nuru, not nurun. Nuru and najmi. Nuru and najmi or nurun najmi. Because then it's like we're joining the two words together. It's like it's becoming a single word. Nurun najmi, the light of the star. So I don't want to overcomplicate it, but if you wanted to, we could, some people call this a construct case. The construct slash is basically this. In English we say the stars. No, that's the other way around. Like I mean, the light of the star. This, the star is the possessor. The light is the thing being possessed. So when it's the thing being possessed, you just take away the tanween. It's not najmu, it's naj. Oh, sorry, it's not najmun, it's najmu. So if you want to, I'll just put this here. Najmu, najmi. Oh, sorry, najma, najmi. And that's it. No more nasty surprises. That's it. That's really it. There's nothing more about this. Well, apart from plurals, but actually plurals work exactly the same. So I won't even add that. Again, we'll see this all in practice. This is all we need to know. If you've understood all of this thus far, hopefully memorize this, we can really begin actually to understand the Arabic language. Before we get to there, let's go with one last task. How do I say the light of the star is from the star? Your last exercise. Let's see if you get this. So pause the video. If you come back, the light of the star, so we just saw this. The light of the star is nurun najmi. Really, the question is, what's the vowel here? Is it nuru, nura, nuri? We know it's an najmi. We know that. But now this is the subject of the sentence. So it's nuru an najmi. Nurun najmi. How to say from the star? Hopefully you got it's min and najmi. Now maybe you got stuck with is. How do I say is? Well, actually, there is no word for is in Arabic language because you don't need it. You see, it's like the cases are giving everything to us. We don't need all these small words like a and the and is in Arabic. The fact that there's a dhamma is in the subject, we know that. Nurun najmi is the subject. Min and najmi, this has to be the predicate. The light of the star, we're talking about this, is from the star. This is what we're speaking about it. Nurun najmi min an najmi. Maybe let me give you one last exercise. How do I say I saw light of the star? This is a bit hard here. To say to see is ra'a. Ra'a means he saw. Ra'a. How would I say I saw? Slightly tricky, but remember I want to add a tool. So I want to say ra'a, tool. Let's see if you get it. The correct answer is actually ra'aytu. So we'll come into all this now, or later. There's only a few rules you need to know to understand verbs completely and to be able to literally do what we did over here for any verb. But really, the truth is, you can kind of guess them all without even knowing it. Because, ra'atu is a bit too long, right? It's ra'itu. But regardless, if you didn't know it, now you do. I saw ra'itu. Ra'aytu. Now, how do I say I saw the light of the star? Hopefully you got it's Nur al-Najm. Nur al-Najmi. What's this? Ra'aytu Nur al-Najmi. See, that's a small mistake because it's not the subject. I saw the light of the star. The light of the star here is the object. So it's Nura al-Najmi because without al-Najm, I would say I saw the light. Ra'aytu, think about that. How do I say I saw the light? Ra'aytu an-Nura. How do I say I saw light? I saw light, not the light. So Ra'aytu Nuran. So that's where I begin with. And then I add of the star to that. I begin with Ra'itu Nuran. Now, with light of the star, so I say Ra'itu Nura an-Najmi. Hopefully you've got that. And believe it or not, we can begin to really understand Arabic. This is the absolute core of the Arabic language. If you just memorize this, and you can memorize and learn this in a week, in a day maybe, but let's say a week, you just keep doing this every day. You memorize this and learn this. God is my witness that the Arabic language is open for you for the taking. This is the pearl of the Arabic language. Learn this, master this, live it. If you have done that, the next stage is to just learn words. Because you know the patterns now, you know how to use words. Sure, there's more patterns to learn, there's more we can say about it. I need to add some more things, explain a bit more about dual cases, the plural. But it's actually very easy because it's patterns. The rest of the journey is all pattern. And I'll explain it as it comes. But next, you don't need to learn more grammar, you just need to learn words. How do you learn words? Just by immersing yourself in the ocean of the Arabic language. Now it is time to dive into the Arabic language. And what I'm going to use the Qur'an to do that. We're going to learn the Arabic language directly from the word of God itself. Let's put together everything we've seen thus far, and I'll help you understand the words and just kind of make sense of the grammar. And look, you're not going to do it yourself immediately. That's not the point. If you continue and you persevere, you will be able to do this more and more. This is my promise to you now. If you have understood this, just continue. If you haven't, ask me any questions in the comments or wherever. I'll make more videos, I'll explain them, inshallah. Just persevere, just keep doing this. Let's do something. Let's learn some words and actually experience the Arabic language, and you'll see how far you've actually come. Let's start with Surah Al-Fatiha. Um, I'll start over here. Surah Suratul Fatiha. Immediately, do you spot anything here? Suratul Fatihati. Hopefully you realize that this is possession, idafa. The surah of Fatiha. That's the meaning. The surah of Fatiha. Al-Fatiha comes from the word fataha, which means to open. So Al-Fatiha means the opener or the opening. Surah means, it's actually a very difficult word to translate. Let's just put chapter for now as a very loose translation. The first chapter of the Qur'an is the chapter of the opening. Surah 2, right? Surah 2, because it's a subject. Surah 2 Al-Fatihati. An E. Al-Fatihati, not Al-Fatihata. Or U. What's the first word? وبعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Let's go for that. بسم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So Bismi, this is one thing to know is that the Quranic Arabic is very old and it's a bit, it's like Old English is what we call archaic. Because it's old and ancient and profound, sometimes it can be a bit different. So Bismi is actually Bi Ismi. This is Bi Ismi. Ism, do you remember what this is? Ism is name. Bi is a preposition which means with. Or again, I mean, the meanings in the Arabic language are so vast. There is actually no way to translate an Arabic word in one English word. But we'll come into this much more in times to come. So very loosely, bi has a meaning of with, or kind of beginning, by, with, by, beginning, bi ismi. Preposition, the object of a preposition. Question, it should be like min, fi, they have a preposition, the object should it not be ismin, be ismin. Why not? Why is it ismi and not ismin? Perhaps you got that there's another possession going on. The name of God. Bi ismi Allahi. So the way you pronounce it is Bismillahi. It's Bi ismi Allahi. With the name of God. And now what's happening with Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim? So it's Ar-Rahmani, Ar-Rahimi. So this is essentially an adjective of the noun, or it's another name of God. So what do we do with this? Is it Ar-Rahmanu, Ar-Rahmana, Ar-Rahmani? Is it Rahmanun, Ar-Rahman? So very simple, you just copy this. It's the name of God. So Allahi, right? The name of God is definite, like the God. Allahi, Ar-Rahmani, Ar-Rahimi. That's all. It's you know, you don't have to learn this in a sense. It's so with Arabic language, just follow your intuition, follow your heart. What you think should be the case, most likely is the case. And that's why, like I said, I don't believe in teaching like the whole Arabic grammar book. Because you don't need it really. You just need an open heart, a receptive heart. And most of the time, you can just work these things out by intuition and by just feeling it. But that's the first sentence of the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahman means, well, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim both share the same roots. I haven't spoken about this yet, but the words in the Arabic language are like a tree. The entire language is like a tree. It has roots. It has branches and stems and trunks. Both of these names, words, are derived from the same root. Can you spot that? Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. The root of both of them is Rahma, Rahimi, Rahami. There's the verb Rahima. Rahima means to have mercy upon someone. You have Rahmah, which means mercy, love, compassion. You have Rahim. The Rahim is the womb. You have an entire like network, tree of related words. And what unites them all, the central branch, is this very, very general, abstract meaning of love and mercy. That's why I said the Arabic language is the matrix, it's the code behind reality. If the veils were lifted, we would see the naked meanings in their luminous essences, which are the Arabic words. And inshallah, bi-idhnihi, I shall explain this more in times to come. But the best way of just learning and explaining this is through the Qur'an. That's the first sentence. And hopefully, you actually understand it now. You know why the vowels are there, why it looks like the way it is. Now, when you pray, you can pray with meaning and understanding. It's bismi, not bismu, bisma, bismi. Bi ismi Allahi ar-Rahmani ar-Rahimi. You understand it? Let's do an exercise. So the word for praise is hamd. Hamdun, praise. Now, draw the table out. Write the table out, as we did before with Najm. Where is this? Here. Hopefully you've done that. And you see it's hamdun, hamdun, hamdun. I won't write it all out now. But in particular, how do I say the praise in the subject? I want to say the praise is. How do I say that? Hopefully you got that is alhamdu. Alhamdu. Let me now help you. The preposition for to is li. Li is to. Now I want you to say the praise is to God. Alhamdu li Allah. So the way we just write lillah. Alhamdu li Allah. Alhamdu lillah. It's like this. Alhamdu lillah. So this first lam is actually like the li is hidden there. And it's lillahi, object of the preposition. Alhamdulillahi. Another name for God is Rabb. How would I say all praise, or rather the praise is for God, the Lord. Lord is Rabb. If you took a time to pause and think about it, hopefully to say the Lord, you got that we say Ar-Rabb. Alhamdulillahi Ar-Rabb. And if you spend the time to think about what the vowel here is going to be, what case is it? Remember, it was Bismi Allahi Ar-Rahmani. You just follow what this is. Allahi Ar-Rahmani. Alhamdulillahi Ar-Rabbi. And now another exercise. How will I say the Lord of the worlds? So it's going to be a plural. The worlds, the universes. I'll tell you what this word is. So to say world, you say alam. Alam. To say worlds and make this plural. So in the Arabic language, plural is actually slightly tricky Sometimes there's not, well, there's many different ways to form plurals. In English, you have, you know, the cat, the cats, you just add an S and you have a plural. Plurals, there's quite a few ways to make plurals. But regardless, that will come more in times to come. For now, you just need to learn the plural for the word separately. The plural of alam is la, um, alamun. But I won't go into this now. But just as, we changed like najm from like najmun, najman, najmin, if you put alamun here, it's going to also change in this table. So I did promise there are no more nasty surprises. Hopefully this isn't a nasty surprise. There's just a few more ways to do this with a few different words. And it's not in total. In total, there's like 6, 7. But at that, they're all permutations of this. When I say there's like 7 more ways to do this, no, but all other 6, 7, whatever, are basically this with a few minor changes. So think about what case is this going to be? Okay, before we do world, just think about world. How will I say all praise is to God, the Lord of the world? All praise is to God, the Lord of the world. Hopefully you got. It's Alhamdu Lillahi. Before it was Ar-Rabbi, but now it's Lord of the world. So remember, if I said I saw the light, it's Ra'aytu an-nura. I saw the light of the star. I want to join light and star together. Light of the star. So an-nur becomes Nura and-Najmi. Same thing. It's Alhamdulillahi ar-Rabbi. All praises to God the Lord. But now it's the Lord of the world. So ar-Rabbi becomes Rabbi. Alhamdulillahi Rabbi al-Alam. Al-Alam. And al-Alami. Possession. Alhamdulillahi Rabbi is Rabbi because Lillahi Rabbil Alami. Now for the plural is going to be al-alamun for the subject. And alamun, alamin. So alamun, alamin. Uhi. Al-alamin. So I'm not expecting you to get this because you haven't done this just yet. But hopefully this now makes sense to you. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. But hey, that's the first verse of Surah Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. But now I hope that you literally understand every word in the sentence and why it's a U and A and E. And really, if you put everything we've done together, you understand the first few verses of the Qur'an. And I promise you, as easy as this, we can continue. And I mean, inshallah, what I want to do is go through the Qur'an from back to front. And in the process of doing that, we'll learn the Arabic language. And inshallah, master it. So this is how we've begun. And hopefully we'll continue. And along this amazing and hopefully God blessed journey, we will study the Arabic language and the Qur'an together. And that's what my niyyah here is. But I'll leave this video here. Any questions, just put them in the chat, get in touch with me. And I'll continue to make these videos بإذن الله. ثم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.